Hi everyone, today as you can tell from the title is my 7 years with MS update. So I was diagnosed with MS in April of 2010. It was around mid to late April when I was diagnosed. So this month marks 7 years of me having MS, and I thought I would come on and share 7 things that I have learned in my time with MS. So just a little bit of background. I was 17 when I was diagnosed. I had optic neuritis was my first recognised symptom, and that was recognised in November. I was diagnosed in April, so it was quite a quick process for me. I was put onto treatment in October. I was on Rebif for a year and then moved on to Tysabri, which I have been on for 5.5 years now. It'll be 6 years in October, and I am JC negative at present. I was tested today and I'm still waiting on those results, so we'll see. Keep our fingers crossed it stays negative. But yeah, 7 things I have learned in my 7 years with MS. Number 1, it is not as bad as you think it's going to be. Yes, there are days, weeks, months where it's awful and you feel like it's never going to get better, but it does. There are good times, there are bad times, but for me there has been many more positive than there has been negative. And in actual fact, MS has now just become a sort of background noise in my life. It isn't something that controls what I do or greatly influences what I do. It's just part of my life, and I've come to sort of be okay with that. Number 2, treatment is very important and can be very effective and play a huge part in your health and well-being. I know some people choose to take a more self-help approach to how they manage their MS, but for myself, I have found that I would not be as stable or as healthy as I am without the treatment I have received. Rebif didn't work for me. I was on it for a year and there wasn't really much improvement. I had more lesions on my MRI scan. I was still relapsing, but with Tysabri, it has kept me healthy for the most part, and it's administered in the hospital every 4 weeks, so it's relatively stress-free for me, which is great. So yeah, treatment, look into it, see what's best for you, but it definitely helps. Number 3, you also have a part to play in keeping yourself healthy. When I was diagnosed, I was 17, I was young, I was naive, I was a bit stupid, and I wasn't really interested in looking after my body and looking after myself. I went out partying, I went through uni and went on nights out and drank lots and went to all the club nights and ate a load of junk food. I could have chips and cheese for dinner 3 nights a week if I was going out and thought that was totally okay. But now I've sort of made a conscious effort that, I have some control over my health and my well-being, and I need to respect that, and I need to work with that. So what do? I eat healthier now, I exercise regularly, I don't drink, and I have never smoked. So those are the 4 main things I do to keep myself healthy. Number 4, I think. Vitamins and supplements can help, just don't become too obsessed with them. The only vitamin and supplement I take is vitamin D. I take about 6,000 to 10,000 units a day, which is what I've been recommended to take by my consultant. When I was first diagnosed, there was all these chat about cod liver oil and evening primrose oil and all this other stuff that would really help MS, but I have found through research and evidence-based stuff that vitamin D really is the big thing that should be taken by those who have MS. Since taking vitamin D and being on Tysabri, my MRIs haven't progressed. I haven't got any new lesions, I haven't had any advancements in that, so that is great. Yeah, so supplements, great, but don't go overboard with them. Number 5, it's okay to be a different person now that you have MS. I have changed drastically from the person I was when I was diagnosed. I've said before, I think a lot of that comes from when I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed at a very formative, is that the right word, stage in my life where I was going from high school to university and then from university into the working world. And I think my outlook on life has really changed because of my MS and just because of the way I want to be and the way I want to progress through life in the healthiest way possible. So yes, you will lose friends. Yes, you will lose people that you once saw as being lifelong friendships, people that would be in your life for a very long time. But that's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you the villain in that situation. It just means that you now know what you want. You now know what's best for you, especially in terms of your health, and you shouldn't compromise that for other people. I certainly think having MS has had a bit of a knock-on effect to my social life, but that is a personal choice for me. I don't see the value in going out and getting drunk 3 nights a week because it really wouldn't do my body any good. Yeah, just my personal experience. Number 6 is you really, really, really have to try and not be so stressed about things. This is something I have learned the hard way. As a student, I was one of those who would leave everything to the last minute and then would be stuck cramming for exams, trying to write an essay 2 days before it was due. And being a teaching student, you have a lot of placements, a lot of paperwork, a lot of filing to do, and that in itself is extremely stressful. Talk about your stresses. Don't keep it all bottled up. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to feel depressed. It's okay to feel stressed. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. What's not okay is to let it suffocate you and keep you down. You have to talk about those things. I have seen psychologists, I've spoken to my family very openly about the struggles I've had, and I think through that openness and that keeping those lines of communication open has been a huge thing for helping me cope with this condition. There are times when you'll feel really low and life will be crap, but you have a support network around you. Make use of that. Don't stress. Get the help when you need it. And the last thing, number 7, would be, oh my goodness, my brain has stopped working. This is what happens. Like, sometimes my brain works and then other times it just goes. Number 7, I was talking about not being stressed. Number 7, listen to your body. I knew it was on the same vein as don't be stressed. I was told by my MS nurse at the very early stages of my condition that your body will give you signs when you're doing too much, and you have to listen to that and take a step back. And it all goes back to when I was younger and foolish and didn't want to listen to what my body was telling me about my MS. You get warning signs. For me, it was pins and needles and my eyesight going. Those were the 2 warning signs I had whenever I was pushing myself too far and potentially heading for a relapse. A good few times in the early years of my MS, I didn't listen and I ended up in relapses, and it was awful, and I never want to experience that again. So listen to your body. If you get pins and needles, if you're overtired, if your eyes are playing up because you're stressed and anxious and pushing yourself too far, slow down. It's like I said before, do not be ashamed to ask for help or to admit that things are getting a bit too much for you. It's okay. We are human. Even everyone without MS is human, and we can't do everything all of the time. Sometimes we need support. Sometimes we need someone to take a load off for us and be there to guide us through things. That's all right. It's not a failure. Yeah. So I know this has been a long video, 8.5 minutes, but those are the 7 sort of top things I would say I have learned in the 7 years I have had MS. I can't quite believe it's been 7 years. It feels like a lifetime ago I was diagnosed, but at the same time it also feels like just yesterday. So yeah, it's quite daunting to think it's been 7 years. I would not ever in my wildest dreams have thought I would be here. When I was diagnosed, I had resigned myself to just a life of solitude, and it's turned out to be so much more and so much better, and I have no plans to just lie down and let MS take me. I am going to keep going and doing the things I love and just being genuinely happy in my life, and I hope you are doing the same too. Yeah, I hope you're all well, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.